people. I'm gonna go get them. We have 50 seconds. Quick drag. Where'd they go? Where did they go? Oh my god, I was sitting on them. Okay, I don't know why I literally can't see. This has never happened before. I cannot see the other monitor. I thought my monitor turned off. I was like, oh. I'm reporting from live on the scene. Live on the scene of the Pokemon Direct. I'm Nemesis Network, here to serve you all things news-related and drag. Today I spent 3 hours on my makeup, if you couldn't tell. We're here talking about the Pokemon Presents presentation. Thank you so much for coming.
Hello everyone. I'm Utsuno.
You are really quiet,
Pokemon
sir.
Company.
Someone turn his mic up!
In today's Pokemon Presents, we will be sharing information on several of our games.
It's not just my
Pokemon
stream, it's
Scarlet
literally
and
him.
Pokemon Violet games. But before that, I'm happy to share some news about the Pokemon World Championships that will be held in London, UK, this year from...
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Nobody gives a shit.
Please have a look at this video.
So happy. Thanks so much, sir.
Hello, Pokemon trainers. I'm Chris Brown from the Pokemon Company International, and I'm delighted to share with
You must be fun at parties.
updates on our annual Pokemon World Championships. After 3 years, our global community will come together August 18th to 21st in London for not only intense Pokemon
I'm gonna move
battles,
my
but also to be
OBS
together, celebrating old friendships and
over
creating new
here,
ones, all
considering
in
I
the
can't
spirit
see
of
it.
friendly competition. We are expecting
Okay, I can see you guys in
thousands of
chat
players
now.
from around
Is
the
my
world
stream still
compete
live?
in
Can you
this
see me?
year's trading card game, video game, and Pokken Tournament Deluxe events. Many players had long journeys earning their invitation over several years.
Hi Lib, hi
We are
Bev.
thrilled
Hi,
to learn
Asa.
who earned the title of World Champion in 2022.
Nani, thank you so much for
This
8
year, We
months.
are also adding many
Hi,
new
Harley.
elements to the show, beginning with 2 new Pokemon titles.
Okay, perfect.
Please join me in welcoming Pokemon Go, where nearly 100 players will compete across 2 age divisions, and Pokemon Unite, where 16 teams from 11 regions will compete. These players have battled
Pretends to be
all year
surprised.
for their shot to earn the title of the
Do you imagine if I got into
very
drag for this
first world
presentation?
champion in these
I
new
mean, I
categories.
took so long
We
doing
also
my
have a
makeup
few
today. I
surprises
took
in
like
store
7
for fans attending
hours.
in person,
I started
including our
last night and I
largest
just
ever Pokemon
finished.
Center World's pop-up shop. For those unable to attend in person, you can follow all the action from wherever you are on our dedicated
Don't I
live
look so
streams for
gorgeous?
each
Like, I
product,
think this is the most
including
beautiful
coverage
I've ever
of
looked.
every
Don't you
championship
think?
match for each age division. Pokemon tournaments are held around the world, and we hope the competition at the World Championships inspire many new players to make new friends through battling. And one more thing. It's my honor to unveil for fans today our new Pokemon World Championships Pikachu Trophy. Take a look.
Girl, literally no one gives a shit.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you in London, and now I would like to hand it back to Mr. Utsunomiya.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown.
Is Twitter
With the
down?
Pokemon World Championships returning after 3 years, please look forward to exciting battles to keep you on the edge of your seats. Now, I'd like to share some news about a few of our games.
Thank you so much, sir.
For the first time
All
in 3
right.
years, we held
Pack it up,
in-person
buddy.
Pokemon Go Fest events in Berlin and Seattle. And this weekend, we will be holding an event in Sapporo, Japan.
It won't let me tweet.
Mysterious creatures known as Ultra Beasts have appeared at each event. And these Ultra Beasts will all gather together during the Pokemon Go Fest 2022 finale event. It will be held on August 27th.
Twitter is
The
silencing
finale
me.
is a global event that can
What
be
the
enjoyed
heck?
by
Not
trainers
silencing trans
wherever they are
voices.
in
How
the
dare.
world. Trainers will be able to encounter Pokemon they may not normally see in the wild. They can
Yeah,
also
isn't my eye makeup
encounter the
stunning
mythical
today?
Pokemon Shaman by completing special research. Will you be able to help Ree contend with the Ultra Beasts? And what has become of Professor Willow, who was sucked into Ultra Space through an Ultra wormhole?
Girl, no
Stay
one
tuned for the
cares.
story's conclusion. Additionally, Daily Adventure Incense has been added to the game. It's a special incense that can be used once a day and lasts for 15 minutes. It can attract Pokemon not normally seen in your area, and rumors say it might even attract legendary Pokemon. Use Daily Adventure Incense for a 15-minute adventure every day. Over the past 6 years, we've seen Pokemon from every region debut in Pokemon Go. There are now over 700 Pokemon you can register to the Pokédex. Whether you're making new friends at Pokemon Go Fest,
Curtis, can you believe I did my makeup this early? Don't I look so stunning? Isn't the eye makeup like a serve? Doesn't it like give what it needs to give?
Our adventures are just getting started. Pokémon Unite, the hot app for Nintendo Switch and mobile devices.
Sure. We're just saying
Unite
words.
Has continued to grow and evolve since its release 1 year ago. In celebration of its first anniversary, we're adding not only new Pokemon
there's hair on my
to the
boobs.
game, but also many
Who put that
events
there?
and campaigns. A new type of quick battle, Pika Party, will begin today, August 3rd. In this special type of quick battle in celebration of our first anniversary, all Pokemon on the field, both wild and players, are Pikachu. We hope you join in the festivities. Additionally, Buzzwole will be joining Unite battles starting today, August 3rd. Buzzwole is an all-rounder that can grapple opposing Pokemon and launch them
Does literally
into the air.
anybody care?
Run amok in battle with Buzzwole's
Serious
ability,
question.
Ace Boost, which
Is anybody here for
temporarily
Pokemon
increases
Unite
Buzzwole's
news?
speed and basic
Let's be
attack speed
constructive.
each time it knocks out an
Sure,
opposing
maybe a
Pokemon.
couple people.
This first
But why
anniversary
open with
is
it?
just the start of what's to come in Pokemon Unite. We're planning more events for September as well, so please stay tuned. And we're gifting Unite licenses in Hollowware for Pikachu, Lucario, Blastoise, Snorlax, and Sylveon in celebration of the first anniversary.
Thanks! Watch, this is gonna be a mobile game. This right here is gonna be a mobile game. I told y'all! This is so shit!
Hey.
I can't, bro. Stop!
Oh, that makes sense.
I want CGs of the professors naked. If not, I don't want this fucking game 3-year anniversary. 3 years, these nuts.
What's this? Looks like Mewtwo's back in the
Oh
Pokemon
my, if
Cafe
you could see
remix
my
game,
eyes
and
rolling,
it's hungry.
they're rolling.
Make delicious drinks and dishes with your cafe staff.
They
to treat
literally-
you to a wonderful time.
They literally, every direct, every fucking Pokemon direct, they open with 500 news articles about their fucking mobile games. Guys, game, whoever the fuck has the licensing and making this shit, no, you could put it in an email. Make its own presentation for mobile shit. Like, don't be like, yeah, we're gonna do things for our upcoming titles and Pokemon Scarlet. They know people are gonna be sitting here, so they put these purposely here to make people play their shit games. Cause literally, nobody is playing them. We'll play them for 5 minutes and then be done. Pokemon Unite is different. Pokemon Unite is has some substance. But like, seriously, like, have a mobile Pokemon game direct. Like, this is ridiculous.
On to the second tip. Just keep on mixing as much as you can. Once you begin 1 minute cooking, keep on mixing the Pokemon to rack up those combos. Use these tips to make delicious drinks and dishes, and you should be able to satisfy Mewtwo. We hope you'll give 1 minute cooking a try. And there's more! Following Latias, who just appeared today, Latios will also appear in the future. Wait, there's even more! We have a
Guys, there's even more. Do you think you're gonna play?
This is
There's
your
even
chance to
more.
get
Do you guys think you're gonna play?
on your
There's
side.
even more.
Pokemon Cafe Remix is available at no cost to start and is playable on Nintendo Switch systems.
Do you guys
and
think you're gonna
mobile
play?
devices.
Can I get a show of hands of people that are gonna play? Okay, here we go. Finally something. Finally something.
Next up, an update on the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet games.
Thank you so much for the— they're gonna give us like 2-second updates and it's gonna be over. Oh. Oh. Jesus. They had to make it clear this isn't actual actual voiceovers in gameplay. They said, we don't want you to get it twisted. No, no, no. Hi, Lee. But there's even more, Lee. There's even more.
Attention, please. Today, we begin
You're yelling.
the treasure hunt. Travel across Paldea. Get to know the region.
How long is it gonna take for people to draw nasty art of this old man? Let's see. Let's start counting, chat. I'll give them about 50 minutes.
Nature.
The other guy, that was like out like that. Like the other professor, they were done in
Rich
seconds.
culture.
It's already on Twitter, Buckwick. It's already printed. It's already sent out by email. Oh, the Denali Pokemon's back. Can you show Slowpoke for Christ's sake? If Slowpoke isn't in this game, I'm not playing. I'm dead ass. Oh, stunning Bob girl.
Where will you go?
Yes, Bob girl.
Who will you meet?
Show an evolution. Like, come on. Oh, there was an Eevee backpack. Did you see that? Oh, I love that girl in the blue. Oh, she's stunned. Oh, this little party bus.
Will be your Pokemon. Journey together.
This voiceover's not giving.
Learn together.
This guy's got like a dick in his mouth. Like, what is like getting him stuck in his throat? It sounds like he's gargling cum. Like, can you get it out?
Find
I've
something
seen
to treasure.
I've seen like one new Pokemon in this trailer. Come on, dude. Seriously? Well, that's different. But is it revolutionary? Do we care? Do they transform? Oh, they transform into something new. Okay. You got me. Yeah, we got Slowking! Slowpoke's in it! Yes! Confirmed! Confirmed Slowpoke's in the game! Yay, I'm happy.
Let the treasure hunt begin.
We're now starting to get a clearer picture of your adventures to come in the Paldea region. I'd like to dive a little deeper into the information presented, so let's take a closer look together, shall we?
There was like one new
The newest
Pokemon.
titles in the Pokemon series
Oh.
are the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet games.
Oh, this girl's done. She does not
These
like
titles will
narrating.
be
She said, I'm here for a
open-world
check and I'm
RPGs,
out.
A first for the Pokemon series. Sprawling landscapes and vibrant towns weave together to form the Paldea region, where your new adventure will unfold.
I'm here doing the narration voice for the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet.
These are the legendary Pokemon,
Like, girl.
Miraidon and Miraidon. You'll rely on one of them as a partner. in your
Miraidon?
adventure. Climb on.
I'm me ride on
And
some
together you'll dash
dicks.
across grassy fields.
Me ride on
across
some
water.
cocks.
And glide
Oh!
through the sky.
Me ride on these nuts!
Your partner can change forms as needed while you explore every nook and cranny of the region with them.
What did you call me? Did she just say the word?
You will be
Wow.
enrolling at a
Wow,
certain academy
Nintendo.
as a student,
Jeez, I know I have some stubble, damn.
and a special independent study project awaits you. The Treasure Hunt. Through it, you'll embark on a journey to find treasure of your own here in Paldea. 3 grand stories are waiting for you. One story will revolve around the familiar gym battles. You'll go to 8 Pokemon gyms and aim for the champion rank. In these games, there is no set path you must take when challenging the gyms. Chart your
I mean, I'm
own
being
course
hard
along
on them.
Victory Road.
I'm also hard right now. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
The other two
I
stories
mean,
you'll
they
experience
just like, I don't
have many
know.
surprises
Pokemon
and
hasn't really
discoveries
gave
as
it to
well.
me
Which story will
lately.
you begin with? How will you progress through them? It is all up
So
to
I just
you.
want them to give what they can. I feel like they have like, it's
Professor
triple.
Sada
Can you
and
shut
Professor
up,
Turo.
Miss Mojo?
Legends passed on
Pokemon
in
has so
Paldea
much money, and they just get so lazy, and that's the same case for all AAA companies.
And
Like,
Mr. Jacques
you have so
Lecoq,
much money,
who teaches
and then
biology.
people are like, oh, they're a smaller dev company, oh, they're smaller, oh, we want them to not rush their games, we want them to take their time. Bitch! They have millions! Why are we not hiring the right people? Because I know they're not hiring people for $1 million contract. Y'all probably paying them minimum wage or something. Because, like, why are we not hiring the right people to work on your games?
The
Why are we
people
not
you meet in
expanding the
Paldea are
teams?
sure to enrich
That's
your
like
life.
MiHoYo being like, oh yeah, we can't have physics of capes and stuff. I'm like, why the fuck not? You have billions of dollars. Hire the right fucking people and update your game.
This Pokemon is the Paldean regional form of Wooper.
Oh, Ava's gonna be so happy. There's Paldean forms. Oh, who is that?
Gracefully squishy Pokemon that
Ah!
are smooth to the touch. And here's Satitan, which has a large body and a hard horn that can freeze its surroundings.
Go back to
Of
Fido.
course, we also have the Pokemon from which you'll choose your first partner.
Are you gonna show the
Toy
evolutions?
Coco, and Quaxley. Enjoy meeting lots of Pokemon.
You're not gonna show us 3 Pokemon and then
Complete
be
your
done.
Pokédex as part of your adventure.
You're not gonna show us 3 new Pokemon and be done. You're joking. Girl.
By using the Union Circle, you can enjoy co-op play with up to 3 friends.
Yeah, but how
You
limiting
can
is
go look
it?
for Pokemon you haven't yet discovered,
How limited is it?
or even ride together.
They're gonna be
traverse
like,
across
you
the
can
map.
invite people, but you can't get anything fucking
Enjoy
done.
all the Paldea region has to offer with family and friends.
What if I don't have family or friends? Huh? How about that? What about that?
The Terastal phenomenon makes Pokemon shine like gems.
Did they just recycle the UI from Alpha Sapphire? That looked literally like the UI from Alpha Sapphire. I don't know about this gimmick. You're gonna add a chandelier on top
All
of the Pokemon's
Pokemon
head?
in the Paldea region are able to Terastalize, which can provide a boost to a Pokemon's type and make its moves stronger.
I don't know. I don't like when they just do this every time. They add like a weird
Some
transformation
Pokemon
gimmick.
will change type when they Terastalize.
Like, we could have stuck with Mega Evolutions and
What
we
type
could have
they
called it a
become
day.
seems to depend on
Like,
that
every game
Pokemon's
is different.
stereotype.
I don't know how I feel about it. I hate that they change it up every time. They never stick with one thing.
For example, an Eevee would typically remain normal type after Terastalizing, but there could be Eevee that become grass or water type after Terastalizing.
But we want a new
I
type,
hope you'll try
dude!
catch Pokemon with rare Terra types.
I know y'all didn't tease evolutions for a week and a half to give us no new evolution.
Pokemon that have rare Terra types
Y'all are
more likely to
exhausting.
appear in Terra raid battles.
Am I wrong for the anger? Like, video
You can
games
challenge
companies
Terra
are
Pokemon
so
in these
lazy
battles with up to
nowadays.
3 other trainers.
They are so lazy.
This is a new kind
Bitch,
of
they're all
raid
just getting
battle where
Hats
you can
Incredible
attack or kill
outfits.
with your own timing
My Hats
without
Incredibles
waiting for
runway.
your ally.
Like, that's Asia O'Hara over there. With the hat?
Try to cooperate with your
Like,
allies
hello?
to get the upper hand in these battles.
And they all have the same hat. They're not the same.
After you successfully
I mean, they all have the
defeat
same
a
hat. They are the
Pokemon,
same. They're not
you have the
unique to a
opportunity to catch
Pokemon.
it for yourself.
What the fuck is this shit? I would oh my god. I know y'all aren't about to wrap it up. You got something else for us. You better say something else.
We've kept all the things you love about Pokemon.
No, you
while
haven't.
involving the adventure you can have in
No, you
Pokemon
haven't.
Scarlet and Pokemon Violet.
You haven't kept what I love. Don't lie to
We
me.
look forward to the day you set out on your adventure.
You better be like, but wait, there's more.
The Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet games are available to pre-order at participating retailers now.
Miss Destroyer is rating on the party of 20.
Paldea region begins in 3
Hi everybody, we're in Quick Drags looking at the Pokemon presentation. How you doing?
That's all for today's presentation.
You are kidding.
Thank you very much for tuning in and watching.
You are so joking. Girl. I told you all. See, I wasn't about to get into full drag for this shit. I'll throw out a quick little lippy. Girl. Oh my god. They teased an evolution for literally in a week and a half, and they didn't even give us an evolution. What a fucking disaster. Anyways, thank you for the raid. I don't know how long I'm going to be streaming for. I literally just streamed for that. But thank you so much for the raid. Oh my, oh my, oh. Oh my, oh my, oh. Am I allowed to just play music? Why not? Hello? Like, why do my alerts do that? Like, I don't have 2 activated. Calm down. Calm down. I think because here... Where is the other audio coming from? I don't know how to fix that. I never see you when I'm raiding. Hi. I did some quick drags this morning. Hi, Epi. Can we get some? Oh my god, I don't have my shout out working. My shout out still isn't working. Thank you all so much for coming though. Everybody please follow Miss Destroyer and Epi Gaming and Lee Dawson on all social media. Lee has like 5 different accounts, so follow and support. But one of them is 18 plus, so you know, don't. If you're not 18 plus, don't do all that. Can we listen to music? Why not? I can't listen to Beyonce though. They'll shut down the stream so fast. Oh my god, am I gonna have to log into my Spotify? Oh my fucking god! Honestly, part of the reason I've been hating streaming is I've literally had to fucking reset everything. I've had to redo my commands. I've had to log into everything again. I've had to, oh my god. Thank you, Epi. I'm just wearing boobs and a bra and a jacket, and then I threw on this little hair. I never wear styled wigs anymore, but you know, here we are. I'm gonna try to put on some music. I'm gonna put on Ava Max album. I've been really fucking with Ava Max lately.